Kettlebell snatch to squat thruster. Repeat that 5 times. Hello again. It's April 3rd, Thursday, a little after 6. The weather is like 59 Fahrenheit, which I think is around 15 Celsius or something like that. It's really windy and I hope it doesn't blow over the tripod. In any case, today I'm going to focus on offset loads with the kettlebell. So I'm going to do like a kettlebell complex, and so usually the way I structure my workout is there's a superset or triset of sorts, and and for this particular workout, whenever I do something with the kettlebell, I'm going to try and maintain a concept of offset load. So by offset load, I mean one hand's going to be handling, like let's say a heavier weight, and then the other one's going to be lighter. And the reason for doing this, the reason for doing this is, well, most objects in the world aren't evenly distributed. So very often when we train with dumbbells or any sort of double instrument, so double kettlebell or whatever, both kettlebells or both dumbbells weigh the same weight. However, most objects in the real world aren't like that. And it is my guess that when there is a difference, the weight on one side of the body versus the other side of the body, there has to be some sort of internal compensation that has to take place in order to perform any sort of movement properly. So, in a way to train that system, let's say, I'm going to do a lot of, or at least whatever kettlebell complex within this workout where there is an offset load taking place. So for the first complex, I'm using 150-pound kettlebell and 135-pound kettlebell. I think it's kind of obvious which one is which. And I'm going to start off with 5 clean and presses. So, looks like this. So the main challenge with this, and then I'm going to do gorilla rows for 5 on each side. So the main challenge that arises with this is, especially with the clean and press, I kind of have to maintain the same rhythm from side to side despite having different weights on each side. Otherwise, it throws the cleaning motion out of whack. Anyway, after doing that, I'm going to repeat it again, but now switching the dumbbell or kettlebells. So yeah, if I am not conscious of the way the kettlebells are moving. One will move faster than the other, which throws the rhythm off, which will throw the whole movement off. So yeah, it kind of trains that concept, I would say. Then with my 15-pound club, going to do, I guess, a flow. So clean, shield cast, forward drop, switch hands, outside mill, and repeat. And going to do that 5 times on each side. So some coordination and flow at play here. And in both movements overall, a lot of shoulders and back at play. Not taking a whole lot of time between sets and just jumping into the next one. And so in the previous set, if I started with the heavy weight on the left hand or heavier weight on the left hand, I'm now switching it on the right hand first. While picking the weight, I'm trying to pick weights that won't take me to failure, because if one side reaches failure, then it throws the second half of the complex out of whack. This is set 4, by the way. I did 2 sets off camera. And once you get a hang of the kettle or the Clubbell flow, it's a nice movement to kind of just repeat side to side. While doing Clubbell movements, if you really take time to focus and on the body, you can notice all the muscle groups that are at play. There's lats, there's shoulders, there's biceps, like pretty much everything. Oh, so yeah, that was the last set of that. On to the next thing. So for the next set of things, I'm going to do a double kettlebell swing with the kettlebells outside the legs. Usually the kettlebells are inside. It's just a different variation, forces the legs to work a different way. But in any case, one side's 50 pounds and the other side's an 80-pound kettlebell. And I'll do the swings first, and then I'll kind of go through what I experience when I do it. So going for 8 and then switching sides. So the biggest difference that I notice is the side with the 80-pound wants to like drag me so much more to that side, and the core on the opposite side has to like stay tight a lot more in order to make sure that I don't like fall over that way. And combined, so it's 80 plus 50, that's 130 pounds. So it's a 130-pound swing. So it's quite a bit of weight, and at the same time the body is in balance, so the core, the lower back, everything's working overtime. Then with my 25-pound club, doing alternating outside mills. So yeah, outside. So if you notice, I'm switching the overhand each time. So after 5 each side of that, doing a clean to squat, then switch sides and squat. Next set I'll probably go heavier on the club. So yeah, with the kettlebell swing, both kettlebells are like coming back with some momentum, and since this one's a lot heavier, it wants to drag me this side. So as it's dragging me, I have to like tighten up muscles. It kind of happens at a subconscious level. It's not, but it has to stay active in order to account for that imbalance. So I think this sort of like, for example, like let's say you're playing basketball or something and you're trying to go one way but you get pushed there's some level of bracing that needs to happen so that you can keep going in the direction you want to go. And I kind of imagine that a similar system is at play when your body wants to swing straight, but then there's one weight that's pulling you more to one side. Decided to go for a 10 on that one. And most people, at least that I've seen at the gym, usually swing with about 60 pounds, 70 pounds, and that to two-handed. So like a 130 pound total swing is actually quite heavy, and that added offset is quite the challenge. And it's kind of obvious when I go from, like, after I do 10 one way and then I switch, you'll notice in the first 2 reps, like, since my body was used to moving the other way, the first couple of reps I'm very uneven, and then I straighten myself out. And now for that. Using my 35 pound club this time around. Which way am I supposed to go? This way? No. God damn it. Screw it. I'll just do it this way. Doesn't matter. So I was doing outside mills, but I guess I'm doing inside mills this time. Squats. That was brutal. I meant to do outside mills, but it doesn't really matter. Seems a similar movement, but an inside mill is an inside throwing pattern. But you know, all of that's for later. I guess if you're replicating it, do whatever you feel like. So, for the next thing, using a 25-pound kettlebell in one hand and my 50-pound kettlebell in the other hand, I'm going to do double, well, I'll just do it and then I'll say it. So, a double kettlebell snatch to squat thruster. Repeat that 5 times. And with snatches, the rhythm matters a lot. And so, similar to the previous movements that I was doing, there is like this controlled contraction or swinging going on in order to facilitate it, which recruits the core and just all the muscles in general in a very unique way. So now repeating on the other side. And then to finish off with my 25-pound mace. I think it's called steel mace around the world. It's like a 360 and forward swing combination. Looks like this. Going for 10 on each side. Going for 10 and then switching sides. When I'm doing the movement, if my feet are visible, notice how like I'm shifting to manipulate the weight. So the steel mace trains a lot of things, like sure, the primary muscles carrying the load are the shoulders and back and a lot of upper body muscles, but there's stuff going on even in the lower half, which makes it a really cool full body movement. So yeah, doing this complex for now. That was my third set, going to do one more. Then, not sure what I'll do next, but there's something coming after. So ending off with a little bit of kettlebell juggling, and I'll probably go for a run of about 3 to 4 miles after this. That's around 5 to 6k, something like that. Doing kettlebell juggling is a cardio in and of itself, but running seems to have a different sort of like effect on my body, which I like. All cardio is not the same. That's what I've come to realize. There's something about just going outside and running that forces the body to adapt in a different way, which I like from an aesthetic perspective. In any case, with today's juggling, I don't really have a set goal. I'm just going to kind of go where my mind takes me. Yeah. The weather here was like super rainy yesterday. There was even a snowstorm, and then all the snow got washed away by the rain, and so it's still damp over here, and I'm like denting or putting dents in the yard big time. For whatever reason, there's an apprehension to catching a triple mug on my left side. And I'm trying to override it, but it's not that easy. Maybe I should just focus on that, doing triples. Whatever. That's for another day. That was good. That was good. I got the triple mug on the left. I try to get like at least like when I can. This wasn't the case over the winter, but at least some form of juggling in, even if it's like 5 to 10 minutes. It keeps the skill fresh enough to where I don't know, it feels like I'm still progressing. Also, at least for me, I don't think juggling for long durations is particularly good. There's a lot of impact on the fingers, and I think it kind of adds up over time, especially if you're first starting off. When I first started off, I think I made the mistake of just going full tilt. Like I would try and get a move for like hours and hours, and I think by the end of it my fingers got super beat up, and there's like some there's still like some aches and pains that I feel from that, and so that's why I talk about it a lot, because it wasn't smart on my part. I think if I would have taken it slower, my fingers would have taken time to adapt, and then they would be a lot stronger now. that's a good note to end my juggling on. So another thing that I like to do is steel mace free flow. It kind of has a similar effect for me like kettlebell juggling, which like I just get to move my body in no particular order and just kind of move with the mace. So it looks something like that. So just putting together random movement sequences. Switching hands, guiding the weight, kind of playing around. Using my 15-pound mace. Yeah, just putting together different movements. Gets the body working rhythmically. And it's a nice feeling to flow like this. Stuff like that. And so by the end of it, it's kind of like you get a lot of muscular work done, but it has like a free creative element to it, which at least for me is kind of fun. So yeah, I'm going to go on a run now, and 3 to 4 miles, and that'll be it for today's activity. So yeah, that's all for today's video. See you all tomorrow.